Your mechanic looks you dead in the eye, charges you $400 and tells you your car just isn't worth saving anymore. Then he drives home in something that costs less than the repair he just quoted you. Here's the dirty little secret the repair shop doesn't want you to know. The cars they fix for a living are almost never the cars they actually buy for themselves. While they are upselling you on a money pit, they're quietly hoarding the kind of vehicles that practically refuse to break. Cheap, boring, and bulletproof. And no, your mechanic isn't going to admit this on camera, mostly because honesty doesn't pay the shop's electric bill. So today we're pulling back the curtain on 3 cheap cars mechanics secretly buy for themselves, the ones they trust with their own money when nobody's watching, and there's no invoice to pad. And the first one on this list, it's so reliable it's practically insulting to the entire repair industry. Picture this. It's a Saturday morning and a guy pulls into a crowded parking lot in a slightly faded SUV with 200,000 miles on the clock. The paint's a little tired, there's a coffee stain on the passenger seat that's been there since the previous administration, and yet, when he climbs out, he's got the smug, unbothered look of a man who hasn't thought about his car in years because he's never had to. That man is a mechanic, and that SUV is the Honda Pilot. Because here's the thing the spec sheets never tell you. The Pilot wasn't built to impress your neighbors, it was built to outlast them. Let's start with why the people who fix cars for a living quietly trust this thing with their own families. At the heart of most Pilots sits Honda's 3.5-liter V6, and this engine has a reputation that borders on legendary. It's not flashy, it doesn't make dramatic noises, or promise you a racetrack experience on the school run. What it does is start every single morning, haul your entire life around, and ask for almost nothing in return. Mechanics love it precisely because they so rarely see one come into the shop with a catastrophic failure. When the rest of the world is arguing about turbo lag and timing chains stretching themselves into early graves, the Pilot's V6 just keeps doing its boring, beautiful, unkillable thing. Pair that with a roomy 3-row cabin that genuinely fits adults in the back, not just children and small pets, but actual humans with legs, and you start to understand the appeal. This is a vehicle designed by people who clearly had to drive their own kids to soccer practice and got tired of hearing complaints. Then there's the practicality, which is almost comical in how thorough it is. Fold those rear seats flat, and the Pilot swallows furniture, luggage, lumber, and the occasional impulse buy from the garden center without breaking a sweat. The visibility is excellent, the ride is smooth, and the whole thing feels engineered by adults for adults. There's no drama here. And in the used SUV world, no drama is worth its weight in gold. A mechanic doesn't want to come home from a day of other people's disasters and then fight with his own driveway. He wants to turn the key and go. The Pilot delivers exactly that, year after year, with the loyalty of an old dog that just refuses to retire. But, and you knew there was a but coming because nothing in this life is free, let's talk about the things you absolutely must check before you hand over your hard-earned cash, because pretending a used Pilot is flawless would make me a liar, and I'd at least like to be a charming one. The big one, especially on certain V6 model years, is the transmission. Some Pilots from the earlier and mid-generations have a reputation for transmission troubles, particularly if the previous owner treated maintenance as more of a suggestion than a requirement. So when you're inspecting one, you want to feel for any hesitation, harsh shifting, or that telltale shudder when it changes gears. Get the fluid checked. Ask for service records. If the seller looks nervous when you mention the transmission, that nervousness is information. The second thing to watch is the VCM system. That's Honda's cylinder deactivation technology, designed to save fuel by shutting down cylinders when you don't need them. Clever idea on paper. In practice, on some models, it's been linked to oil consumption and the occasional case of premature spark plug and motor mount wear. None of this is a deal breaker, but it's the kind of thing where a knowledgeable buyer saves themselves a headache and an uninformed buyer funds their mechanic's next vacation. So check for oil consumption between changes, listen for any rough idling, and inspect those motor mounts.
And as with any older family hauler, peek underneath for rust, especially in regions where they salt the roads, and make sure the air conditioning blows ice cold, because a dead AC compressor is never a cheap surprise. Now, with the warnings out of the way, let me bring you back to why this thing earns a permanent spot on the secret list. Because despite those quirks, the Honda Pilot has consistently ranked among the most dependable three-row SUVs you can buy, and the proof is in the resale value. These vehicles hold their worth stubbornly well, and that's not an accident. The market knows a workhorse when it sees one. It's genuinely common to find Pilots crossing 200, even 250,000 miles still running strong, still hauling, still refusing to quit. Try that with half the trendy crossovers on the lot today, and you'll be calling it tow truck before the warranty's cold. There's a reason you see so many of them with high mileage and original owners who talk about them the way other people talk about a loyal pet. The Pilot doesn't just survive ownership, it rewards it. It's the rare SUV that gets cheaper to own the longer you keep it, because the repair bills that haunt other vehicles simply never show up to the party. So, that's the Honda Pilot, the quietly brilliant family hauler that mechanics buy, not because it's exciting, but because it lets them forget cars exist for a few blissful years at a time. It's roomy, it's tough, it's honest, and it'll happily carry your entire chaotic life from one chapter to the next without complaint. But if you think the Pilot is impressive for its size, wait till you see what the next car on this list pulls off, because it proves that staying loyal to your wallet doesn't always require 3 rows of seats in a V6. In fact, the next one does it with a whole lot less, and somehow even more attitude.
Real quick, if you've ever owned one of these unkillable machines, or if your own mechanic has ever quietly tipped you off to one, do me a favor and smash that like button, because it genuinely helps more than you'd think. And hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. And here's what I really want to know down in the comments. What's the highest mileage you've ever personally squeezed out of a car before it finally gave up? Are we talking a respectable 200,000, or are you one of those legends rolling around on the original engine at 300,000, daring it to die? Drop your number below and let's see who's got the most stubborn survivor in the parking lot. All right, back to the list, because the next one is a personal favorite. Let me ask you something a little uncomfortable. When you picture the car a savvy mechanic secretly buys to save money, you probably imagine something rugged, something with a tough engine, maybe a bit of muscle. You almost certainly do not picture a cheerful little box on wheels that looks like a toaster went to design school. And yet, here we are. The Kia Soul, that funky, square, slightly cartoonish hatchback you've been quietly judging in parking lots for years, turns out to be one of the smartest cheap car secrets in the business. Go ahead, laugh. The mechanic, laughing with you, already owns one. Here's what makes this odd little machine so clever. The Soul was built on a beautifully simple idea. Take a basic, affordable, easy-to-fix recipe and wrap it in a body that's somehow far more spacious inside than it has any right to be. Climb into one, and the first thing that hits you is the headroom. That boxy shape everyone snickers at? It's the reason a 6-foot-tall passenger can sit in the back wearing a hat and still not touch the ceiling. The Soul plays a magic trick that expensive SUVs charge you 30 grand to perform. It makes a small, economical footprint feel like a genuinely roomy vehicle. You get a tall, upright seating position, big windows, fantastic visibility, and a cabin that feels open and airy instead of cramped and apologetic. For city driving, parking in spaces other cars wouldn't dare attempt, and squeezing maximum usefulness out of minimum money, it's almost embarrassingly good. And mechanically, this is where the Soul earns its quiet respect. The engines under the hood are naturally aspirated, uncomplicated, and refreshingly free of the trendy, turbocharged drama that turns so many modern cars into ticking repair bills. There's no fragile dual-clutch gearbox throwing tantrums, no over-engineered nonsense designed to look impressive on a brochure and fail expensively at 60,000 miles. It's a simple front-wheel drive layout that's cheap to service, cheap to insure, and sips fuel like it's trying to win an award for politeness. Parts are everywhere, and they're affordable, which is exactly the kind of math a professional appreciates. When a guy who fixes cars all day decides he wants something he'll basically never have to think about, this kind of honest simplicity is the whole point. The Soul isn't trying to be exciting, it's trying to be effortless, and it succeeds. But let's pump the brakes for a second, because no used car gets a free pass on this channel, and the Soul has a few things you genuinely need to investigate before you fall in love. The most important one is the engine history on certain model years. Some Souls, depending on the year and engine, have been tied up in recalls and have a reputation for engine issues, including oil consumption and, in the worst cases, more serious internal trouble. So before you buy, you want to do your homework. Run the VIN, check whether any recalls were ever performed, and demand proof that the work was actually completed rather than just promised. Take it for a proper test drive and listen carefully for any knocking, ticking, or rattling from the engine, especially when it's cold. Watch the oil level over time if you can, because an engine that drinks oil between changes is trying to tell you something, and it's never good news. A couple of smaller things to keep on your radar too. The Soul, like a lot of cars in its class, can be a target for catalytic converter theft, so it's worth checking that the one underneath is the original and intact, rather than a hasty replacement that hints at past drama. Give the suspension a listen over bumps, since these cars live hard city lives, and worn components are common on higher mileage examples. And as always, inspect for any signs of neglect. Uneven tire wear, a service history that looks more like a rumor than a record, or an interior that's been treated like a mobile garbage can. With the Soul, a well-maintained one is a fantastic buy, and a neglected one is a cautionary tale. Your job is simply to tell the difference, and now you can. Here's the part that brings it all home though. Despite those cautions, the Kia Soul has built a genuinely loyal following and a reputation for being one of the most practical, low-stress small cars money can buy. It's backed by a brand that famously offers some of the most generous warranty coverage in the industry, which tells you the manufacturer itself is betting on long-term durability. These cars are cheap to buy, cheap to run, and ridiculously easy to live with day to day. They've got more cargo space than the silhouette suggests, surprisingly modern features even on older trims, and a personality that grows on you fast. People who own them tend to keep them, and people who mock them tend to go quiet the moment they actually drive one. That's the Soul's whole secret weapon. It never wins you over with horsepower or status, but with the rare gift of never being a problem. And for a mechanic, never a problem is the highest compliment a car can possibly earn. So, the toaster on wheels turns out to be a little genius in disguise, the kind of car that quietly proves brains beat looks every single time. But if you think the Soul was an unexpected pick, the final car on this list is going to absolutely floor you because it's the one mechanics guard most jealously of all, the cheap survivor they almost don't want you to know about. And trust me, you'll understand why the moment we get to it.
And now we arrive at number 1. The car mechanics guard like a secret family recipe, the one they'll happily recommend to a stranger but suspiciously never seem to part with themselves. After all the build-up, you might be expecting something exotic. Instead, I give you the 2011 Mitsubishi ASX. Yes, the compact crossover that half the world forgot existed. And that, my friends, is exactly the point, because the cars nobody talks about are very often the cars that never let anybody down. The ASX didn't get famous, it just got the job done. Over and over, until quietly becoming the kind of used buy that makes a mechanic smile and say nothing. Let's unpack why this underrated little crossover deserves the top spot. The 2011 ASX arrived during an era when Mitsubishi was still building things with an almost stubborn old-school sense of durability, and it shows. Under the hood, you'll typically find simple, proven 4-cylinder engines that weren't chasing fashion or squeezing out every last drop of power through fragile technology. They were built to run and keep running while the odometer climbs into numbers that would make trendier rivals nervous. This is a vehicle that treats 200,000 kilometers not as a finish line, but as a warm-up. For a buyer who wants a higher-riding, comfortable, easy-to-park crossover without the bloated price tag or the bloated repair history, the ASX is an absolute sweet spot. It gives you that commanding seating position everyone craves, genuinely usable cargo space, and a footprint small enough to thread through tight city streets without sweating. And here's where the mechanics logic really kicks in. The 2011 ASX is mechanically straightforward in all the right ways. The most reliable versions skip the fussy, expensive complications and stick to a recipe of honest engineering, a layout that's cheap to maintain with parts that are widely available and won't require selling a kidney to replace. Insurance is gentle, fuel economy is sensible, and the whole package feels like it was designed by engineers who genuinely expected you to keep the thing for 15 years. There's a reason these quietly pile up the miles in the background of everyday life, while flashier crossovers spend their afternoons on a flatbed. The ASX doesn't demand your attention. It just earns your trust, one uneventful trip at a time. And in the world of used cars, uneventful is a love language. But before you go hugging the first ASX you find, let's run through the homework, because even a hidden gem has a few rough edges worth inspecting. The single most important thing to investigate is the transmission, and specifically whether you're looking at a model fitted with the CVT. Some of these continuously variable transmissions can be finicky if they've been neglected. So on your test drive, you want it to pull smoothly, with no shuddering, whining, or that unsettling rubber band hesitation when you accelerate. Make sure the fluid has actually been serviced, because a CVT that's never had fresh fluid is a problem waiting patiently for its moment. Beyond that, give the timing components a thought depending on the exact engine, and ask when they were last addressed, since staying ahead of that maintenance is the difference between a cheap car and an expensive lesson. There are a few other spots to poke around too. Check underneath for rust, particularly in the wheel wells and along the underbody, because age and harsh winters can quietly nibble away at any car of this vintage. Listen for worn suspension components over bumps, since these crossovers often lived busy, pothole-filled lives. Test every electrical gadget, windows, locks, the climate control, the lot, because on older Mitsubishis, the occasional electrical gremlin likes to hide until the worst possible moment. And as always, treat a thick stack of service records as pure gold, and a suspiciously empty history is a giant flashing warning sign. The good news is that none of these checks are exotic. Any decent inspection will reveal a well-kept ASX in minutes, and a well-kept one is a genuinely brilliant buy. Because here's the bottom line on why this car closes out the list. The 2011 Mitsubishi ASX represents that increasingly rare combination of crossover practicality, mechanical simplicity, and bargain bin pricing on the used market. It depreciated hard, like most forgotten models do, which means today you can pick one up for a fraction of what its newer, trendier competitors cost, while getting durability that often quietly outlasts them. It's frugal, it's comfortable, it's easy to live with, and it carries that wonderful Mitsubishi reputation for taking abuse and shrugging it off. This is the textbook definition of a smart money car. Unglamorous on paper, unbeatable in your driveway. The mechanic who buys one isn't trying to impress anybody. He's just quietly winning. And now you're in on the secret too.
So there you have it. 3 cheap cars that the people who know engines best would happily park in their own driveways, from the unkillable family hauler to the funky little box that fooled everyone, all the way to this forgotten crossover champion. The common thread is simple. Real reliability never needed to be expensive or flashy. It just needed to show up every single morning. And these 3 do exactly that. If this video saved you from a future of mystery repair bills, do me one favor before you go. Hit that like button, because it tells the algorithm to put this kind of money-saving honesty in front of more people just like you. Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss the next deep dive, because I've got plenty more secrets where these came from. And don't wander off just yet. Go ahead and click the video popping up on your screen right now, because your next great cheap car decision might be just one more episode away. Drive smart, spend less, and I'll see you in the next one.